A lot of you came here for an update, so that's what I'm going to give you. First, anybody heard of snooze? You guys heard of snooze? How come none of the adults have? What is this stuff? This stuff is spitless tobacco. Why would we create a spitless tobacco? Anybody have any idea what that might be used for? Is that a perfect product if you chew? Is that a perfect product to take to school with you? Because you don't have to spit it. Yeah. It's not as big a product as we thought. It came into the stores. A lot of the stores said, I don't have room for it. They decided not to buy displays or put this stuff up, and as a result of that, it just never really caught on too well. So it's still out there. It's just not nearly the product that we thought it was going to be. Kind of, as we call it in the business, kind of kid-friendly, isn't it? It's kind of pretty. It's kind of colorful. Yeah. Now, do we have anybody in the room that does tobacco cessation? Anybody in the room that actually is a cessation counselor? Nobody? You are? Okay. Excuse me. The people that you see nowadays, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. The people that you see nowadays, are they telling you it's really hard to quit? I mean, like really hard to quit? Yeah. How many smokers we got in the room? I used to be a smoker. Anybody else? Nobody else used to smoke?
Used to or doesn't
Used to.
know?
Not anymore. Used to a long time ago and said gave it up. When I quit, it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I mean, all my police training and advanced stuff, and it was nothing compared to trying to quit tobacco. It was hard. But it really pales in comparison to what the people are telling us nowadays. It's really hard to quit. The reason for that is nicotine levels have been edging up. The industry is losing customers. They realize that they need to do something to capture that business or they're going to lose it. So what they did is they slowly increased the level of nicotine in our cigarettes. Now the reason they did that is because nicotine is so addictive that the more the nicotine levels go up, the harder it is to get off the drug. Well, the problem is, though, is you can't slam it up too fast because nicotine is also extremely toxic. So if you put it up too fast, too much, people actually die now rather than 30 years from now. So they had to be very careful, and they've actually used some people in some foreign countries to test their theories on how much you can go and how fast you can go. So some things going on with that. Also, the industry, the alcohol industry itself has been doing some consolidation. These are the top, and this is a world number, top beverage companies in the world. And as you'll see here, out of the top 20, 8 of them are beer companies. And these are all beverages. Okay? So that's the list. Now, so what am I talking about here? Those are the big guys. You guys heard of Anheuser-Busch? Yeah. Have you heard of InBev? Most of you hadn't. I hadn't either. InBev is a multinational, humongous corporation. A few years ago, now just a little very brief background on Anheuser-Busch. It's owned by Augustus Busch IV. It's a family-run business, been around for a long, long time. And everything was happy in St. Louis, Missouri, cranking out Budweiser. And InBev comes in and says, we want to buy your company. And he said, well, it's not for sale. And they said, we didn't really ask you that. We want to know how much you want us to pay for it. And he said, didn't you hear me? It's not for sale. And they said, didn't you hear us? We're not asking, we're telling you. And he said, well, you can just go out the door because I am not selling to you. He said, fine. One of the things he didn't have is 50% of the stock. So they went out and bought everybody's stock for vastly inflated prices. And the next thing you know, Mr. Bush is no longer the owner of his own company. They said, well, we'll make you third vice president. Now, you won't have to do a whole lot, but we'll give you a real nice, cushy office, and you can just enjoy life now. You don't have to worry. We'll take care of everything. So InBev now is this monster corporation. SAB Miller has been quietly forming allegiances with Coors, Miller, and Molson, and they're now the second largest beer company in the world. So let me just give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. Oh, by the way, the guys in between the beer companies and the retail stores, they've started merging together, making bigger companies. Most of you have never heard of these companies unless you're in the business and you go, oh yeah, those guys. What about retailers? Have they been consolidating? Anybody heard of these guys? Uh-huh. I was at a meeting a couple of years ago. Two big executives from both these companies were there. The Costco guy was talking about how that he's doing wine and boy, things are really wonderful and it's really doing very, very well. And the Walmart guy says, why are you selling wine? I mean, what? I've got tons of products. I don't need one more aggravation. Besides, you're worried about trunks and kids, and oh my God, I don't need that. And he says, why are you doing that? And Costco guy says, because it's our #1 product. We make more money on wine than any other product in our store. And guess what we now have in Walmart? He was listening. We now have wine and beer in our Walmart stores. Yep. So, largest retailers are Costco and Walmart worldwide. The two companies are responsible for 85% of the beer business in the world. As you can see here, $200 billion per year in retail sales, pretty big amount of money. And beer is now cheaper than bottled water. Check it out the next time you're in a store. How much is a bottle of beer versus a bottle of water? Water is now more expensive. Beer consumption ranking by country. Yeah, we thought we were #1, didn't we? No. China is a really rapidly growing beer business company, or country rather. Yeah, that's a burgeoning market over in China. Great place. I just thought, we talk SAB Miller, we talk Miller Coors, we talk these numbers. Diageo, largest hard liquor company in the world. But I wanted to show you what some of the brands that they sell. Because then you go, hey, I know those. Wait a minute, what's going on here? These are all under the same umbrella? Yeah, they are. As you can see here, all these different companies are all owned by one. And there's a fair amount of money involved. Yeah, that's every year. Okay, having said that, top 5 global brewers already account for 2/3 of the beer market. Yeah, it just gets bigger and bigger. It just does. Here's some of the labels under Anheuser-Busch InBev. Here's some of them under Miller Coors. I used to enjoy Blue Moon because I thought it was this little craft brewery. And I said, wait a minute, what? What is that? Miller Coors owns this? And I'm like, well, I don't think I like it so much anymore. I mean, anybody know where Magic Hat is? It's brewed up in Burlington. It's a Vermont beer. Not anymore. They got bought out too. Yeah. SAB Miller breweries around the world. I asked a representative of SAB Miller, I said, why do you have so many breweries? Why don't you consolidate? And I said, because beer is extremely heavy, very expensive to ship. You don't want to have to ship it too far because it costs a lot to ship it quickly. And that's what's going to drive your cost up. They know that the higher the price of beer, the fewer people drink it. You got to keep it down. You got to keep the price down. That's why they have so many breweries. They own over 200 regional beer brands. Interesting how they do this. What they'll do is they'll come into an area where there's this little craft brewer, and he's got this little pocket of customers, and everybody's very happy. And they'll say, it's really tough in business. Why don't we buy out your business, and we'll just handle all the money part, the marketing stuff, and you can just go ahead and make your beer. And for a lot of these companies, they go, wow, this is wonderful. I don't have to make those decisions anymore, and somebody else is going to take care of stuff for me, and I can just brew my beer. Yeah. And they keep the same label and everything, same bottle, same everything. Non-beer brands. Anybody recognize some of those products? Yeah, that's part of SAB Miller. You're going, wait a minute, what are they doing with Nestea? What, Minute Maid? What? Wait, whoa. What's this healthy stuff that they sell? Yeah, they sell that stuff too. When SAB Miller and InBev started looking at their costs, they said, where can we maximize our profits by cutting our costs? Well, one of the biggest things that costs a ton of money is shipping. Ship it from point A to point B. So they said, why don't we just buy up the shipping lines and the rail lines? Buy them up, and then it's our company that's shipping our stuff. Save money that way. They've also found that bottles and are very, very expensive to make if you buy them from somebody. So they've actually bought companies that make plastic bottles. So most of our plastic bottles, like the one you have there, is owned by a beer company, actually. Yeah. And when they were started making plastic bottles, they said, you know what, there's a ton of other stuff we can make too. Yeah, I was doing one of this for a coalition, and one of the ladies from the local hospital went, hey, what do you mean they're making my x-rays? I said, yeah, they are. The film that you buy is actually a beer company. She wasn't real happy with that one, I gotta tell you, but look at all the stuff and where it touches us. It touches us everywhere. Beer companies have got their fingers in our lives. They really have, like it or not. And one of these days I gotta add some numbers here. AB and InBev, those two numbers need to be added together to give you an idea. These are yearly numbers. Now, People say, what's an oil company doing on your list? Does anybody know what ExxonMobil does? Sell gas, right? What do they have to do with the liquor business? They own 34,000 convenience stores nationwide. That's what their business is. There's Walmart.